Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to CCxRC. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at my latest build. It is the vDub chassis by Hardpark crawlers, and this thing is awesome. It's based on their Dementor. They call it the vDub for obvious reasons, and yeah, it's super fun rig. My first comp I did with it, I took first place, which was pretty cool. My second one with it, I just took second place. So I really like how it handles. It's a little longer than I intended it to be because of the links, but other than that, I mean, it's done well considering. And if I was going to have a long build anyway, it might as well be my four-wheel steer one. And the courses so far have kind of been good for having a longer wheelbase. So we're going to talk about this. We're also going to install this right here, brand new from Furitek. It is their Python Pro ESC receiver combo that works with their Avatar radios, and so this is fantastic. People were asking, I did a video on their other receiver combo that works with the Furitek remote control that came with that, as well as it works with like Hobby Plus ones. But that's great if you want to upgrade those vehicles, keep the same radio. It's an awesome solution. This though, for the people that had the Avatar and were asking, it didn't work with it, this does, and so that's amazing. We're going to get this installed because this thing's really tight in there. You can see where I've got my ESC jammed up on top of the the transmission in there, which is also one of the Hardpark crawler ones in there. So they're low profile one. We'll take a quick look at the build of this, and then we'll get into installing this, and then we're going to test it on our foam course up here, because there's one section on this that is pretty much undoable, but we think maybe if you have four-wheel steer, it might be doable, so we're going to see if that's possible with this extra long wheelbase truck. So links I got for this were from RCS 710, RC Steve 710, and we've got the 3Flow 9 steering links on the front with like little bearings on the link there, so it kind of rolls when you come up against things. Pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to get on the other side of the camera. We're going to look at this, and then we're going to try and install it so it pairs with this Furitek radio, which I've got to say is the most comfortable radio I've ever used. I absolutely love this thing. I use it on all my 124 scales that I can get into it. My other one, which is not the four-wheel steer, has 8 RCs in it. This one has my four-wheel steer in it, and one of the other trucks just as a secondary, so I can just take one remote on the certain nights, but love them. They come apart, they pack away real nice that way. And you know that it won't accidentally turn on if you do that, which is pretty cool. But yes, big, huge fan of these ever since I got it. If you think I'm just, saying that, you can ask anybody that I comp with. I talk about how great these are almost every week and how much I love my radio. So you'll constantly see me using this. If you see me up at Reaction, I've got this in my hand, pretty much guaranteed. Anyway, let's do this. Alrighty, so here it is. First off, we'll go ahead and unbox this, get a quick look at it, and see what we're dealing with. I can already tell there's a bunch of wires in there that are going to go as our receiver wires that plug in. Got kind of the tiny plugs that go to. So that may be a little messy in there. We'll have to wait and see. And then we've got to open this up. And there's two options for it if you want to run an on-off switch or not. Or if you just want to plug in to turn it on, you can unplug this. But there it is, the Python RXA. Pretty cool. And our battery's going to go in right there. There's a battery extension on this as well. So definitely a little bit bigger than the others because of these extra parts here. But we'll take that out at the time and we'll look at them side by side and go from there. So excited to have this and see if we can't just mount all of it back here. So as you can see in this, I have it jammed up on top here. It's got the on-off switch on the side. Everything's really crammed in here tight. My receivers are kind of stuck up on here, double-sided tape onto this back wall. I'm going to try and see if I can't get all of it just kind of tucked in back here. Try and get it away from the transmission a little bit more than it is hanging over the top like that. But here's how you can get a quick look at this thing. It's really long. It's running Mighty Chihuahuas on both the front and the rear. I need to still get smaller batteries. This is the smallest batteries I have, and I absolutely love these little 400 Gens Ace batteries. I've just got it kind of, their Adventure Series 400 in a nice small package. But I would love something that would fit in here tucked a little better, or maybe up on the servo. I don't know. I see people do that. I'm hoping this will give me some more options for that, so we'll see. Maybe I could even run this through here. That's an option. If I could maybe move my electronics, maybe I'll put it up here and mount this up here. Is it too big? It's a little too big to fit sideways there. So that's not going to work. But I'm going to look at our options. Really good build. They've actually updated some of this stuff, and he sent me the updates. So at some point I need to go in here and redo the skid and all of this with the new parts that he sent me. But absolutely love it. Very, 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 very cool looking build when it's out there running. These are Trio wheels here. You're supposed to see the inside of them, which is green. Right now we've got them on backwards. So it's really supposed to be a deep offset. And we flipped them because you can actually, you put the hexes on these on their own. So instead of putting the hexes on the right way, we just flipped it around and did it backwards, which gives us a really tucked wheel. So it's nice and super narrow. So yeah, that's what we're running on these Trio wheels. I did order Hardpark wheels though to build for this, because we can get those even a little bit tighter, which is pretty crazy to think about with this already being as narrow as it is. But we've got those wheels. I chose the honeycomb ones, so they look super sick as well. But yeah, you can see this thing has got a lot of flex because of that wheelbase of it. It'll really kind of stretch up there. So a little more than I like, because it gets a little twisty on stuff and wants to roll. But it's not terrible. It's kind of like right at the edge of where I want it to be. So I don't know. We may leave it. We're gonna keep riding it out. It's done well so far. So why change a good thing, right? But you can see how long it looks. It's like deadbolt rear length in the front and like gladiator length in the rear or something. I don't know. It's stupid long. It's crazy. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start taking some of this out of here and see if we can't get this reset up, and then we're gonna test it on the track. We've got a tough spot that we want to try with the four-wheel steer, and so this is gonna be perfect for doing that testing. I just think it's gonna be easiest to have the top off, because it's gonna give us access to a whole bunch of stuff when we do it this way. So this is an Avatar receiver that I had to have in there. They're nice and tiny, I will say. That's one of the great things about these as well. Very small footprint, especially because these are getting bigger in size than the ones that were just kind of wrapped. You're definitely dealing with more bulk inside the car with these. And then this one's even bigger of a footprint. So wider. Looks like same length. Nope, a little longer. A little bit longer, and then a little bit wider. But you also have to have an external, the on-off switch isn't built into it. It's so you can move it wherever. And thicker this way too, up and down. I may go back to a Lizard for this build, because in tight builds, these are a little bit trickier to utilize. So I'm gonna try and stick this up in here, try and keep our stuff off. I did break this, it's my fault, but I broke the cover that goes over the spur gear, so I've also got to watch out for that as I go here and put it all back together. But motor's gonna go into here. Let's start wiring some stuff up. And then we're just gonna have our channel 1, 2, channel 1 and 3, because 2 would be for the power, which is already built in. So I need 2 of those cables that came with it, which are in here. And there's also 2 options for your battery, right? So if you like these red style batteries, which is pretty cool, you could run those. There's the T brand batteries for the 18th scale T brand. And then there's the ones that fit the axial SCX24. And then these are for receivers. So I think I need all of the above. I'm not going to use the plug on the side, which means that when I plug it in, it'll automatically just turn on. And I'm okay with that. So it is going to get a little bit wire crazy with this here. So we're going to have to do a little bit of cable management. So I'm going to stick in this battery plug like so, because it's going to have to go to the front of the vehicle when we're in here. It's going to have to route forward. I think I'm probably going to zip tie all of this stuff right to this and then try and stick it up against the inside of the car once we do that. Go here and it's going to auto turn on. I can see it blinking like crazy. It's in bind mode. So I'm going to turn on my avatar. I'm going to go in, and we've already got the car we want. So I'm just going to go in, and I got to bind it though. I'm going to go down Model 1 and hit bind. It's not seeing it. There it went. So I had to have this in bind first. Oh man, and we're already set. And look at that. My tire came off the bead the other day and I haven't fixed it yet. Let's see if it's steering right. It's going for, nope, it's in reverse mode. So next what we're gonna have to do is get onto the app and go in and just change some of our settings to get the directions the right way. So I'm just gonna screen record that, and then I'll overdub my voice over because I don't have a way of recording the screen because I'm actually recording with my phone right now. So I will go ahead and record that, and then we'll be back in just a second. All right, so what we're gonna go in here and do is we're gonna choose our RC car. So we're gonna go ahead and reverse our motor direction to counterclockwise. We're going to set our servos at 7.4 because they can handle it. We're going to leave these other settings the same for now. We're going to look at the throttle. We're going to calibrate this to our radio. We're going to say yes, we do. Throttle's at 0. Pulling full trigger, hit OK. Setting full reverse, OK. And we're going to save that. All right, guys, here's where I get to tell you exactly what I think about this thing. And I think it's pretty cool what they've done here. What I will say, though, is it's a lot bigger. And so for something that in my mind would be to space save, I feel like it takes up more room. And that is primarily because you can't spread it out and hide it into small spaces. These cars are so small that you tuck things where you can in order to get them hidden in there. So having one big brick of a unit like this can be hard to find a place for in a vehicle, alongside having to find a spot for your battery as well. The original Lizard Pros are still, I think, some of my favorite because of just how small they were with the shrink wrap. I don't need them to go in water. So like these are Pro is what they're called, or Ultimates and things like that, Python Pro. For me, like Pro level is when we're going into the comp stuff and all that, and we're actually trying to do less. You know, we know what we're doing, and so we want to strip some of this away so we have less weight and we get it in there tighter, and these feel like they're getting bigger and bulkier. What was great about these little receivers is they take up so little room. So now what we're doing is we're having to add these little dongles on here, which then you have to try and hide in as well. And so it just, in tight builds, all of those little things become complicated. And I've got more wire now that I have to deal with that you know, there's a lot of moving internal parts inside of these. That stuff you don't want them getting bound up on or cut through wires, all that kind of stuff. So I couldn't get it to fit in the back here no matter what I did, because there was such a big bunch of wires and these connectors here, adapters, that there's no way that I could keep it. And it was hitting the bottom links, and it was hitting the bottom drive shaft, and it was doing all this stuff, that I decided to move it to the front. And I still like this up front here better than the battery was up here, but I don't really want it sticking out there. That's the thing. I was trying to find a small square battery that would just kind of tuck in there. So yeah, what do I think? I think it's good technology in the right uses. This might not be it. Maybe in a TRX4M that's a little bigger, 18 scale stuff that's got a little bit more wiggle room on the internals, yes. Function-wise, works great. And we're going to get it here on the course and test it out and see if we can't get that hill, with this being a 4-steer vehicle that we haven't been able to climb yet on our course here in the studio. So we're going to do that. But I mean, it's well built. It's, you know, it works with the Avatar, which I love. Has multiple channels on it. And in many, many uses, like bigger open space ones, like the Furitek or other things, these adapters, that kind of stuff, not a big deal. In a pro comp type use, SCX 24 scale stuff, it's tight. It's definitely tight. So take that into consideration if you're looking at it. But we're going to keep it in here, I think, because I don't mind the way that the battery's set in there. Now it's easy for me to slide out, and it is cleaner than what it was. However, I could have easily cleaned up what I had in there and done it different. The main thing was where the battery was going. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. Now we need to conquer the hill, so let's do it. The truck itself, though, the ESC's performing well. I feel like you just have to do this so perfectly. And just find the exact perfect line in order to do it. And oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh! Oh, oh my goodness. We had that. Come on. What do we got to do, that rear end? Somehow got to get it to climb faster here. Oh, wow, we were so close, you guys. But it's that very end where it starts to narrow up. I just did not have the line. Those back tires just rocked it over. Needed a front winch down or something at that point. So I missed it that time. The back end to stay up. Oh, we came out of the bead. Yeah, once it gets down in there, we're done. Gotta somehow climb it faster, get it to climb up the wall, work its way up. It's gonna be a learning curve for me on that, because I don't know. All right, well, we're gonna take it on some other stuff. That was an attempt. Ooh. Servo is hot. The rear one is bound up a lot. We worked it hard. Probably not gonna get much of a run in because of that. I don't wanna cook that, and it is very hot. Should be with how hard I was working it. Four-wheel steer for the win. Long wheelbase for the win. Rear steer in. There it was. Now I got lots of bead coming out. That was brutal. Come at it straighter, there we go. Need some wheel speed to get up here. And looks like we're coming out this way now. Rear end is crazy flexing. Yeah, the flex on this is not helping it. There it is. Not for this kind of stuff. Too flexy. Just having to use this on a tripod because of the force steer. In order to be able to run it force steer, I can't control it and do all of the force steer stuff and hold the camera, so forcing me to mount it. Fail. That was driver fail. I was not ready. I should have been crab walking out of here early. It's a little slipperier type of substance here, so I just wanted to fall in. See, this is the kind of twisting I get from the flex of the length, and it'll twist over. So that's where it becomes problematic if you don't line something up just right with these super flexy vehicles. Right here, and hope it'll, there. That's all it needed the whole time. Me to pay attention to it. Hard corner, we're gonna hook it on here. Spread ourselves out. Reach around the corner with that long wheelbase. And we'll go up the next one. If we can get over that servo horn. Keep the back end going the direction it was. Top end, front end fell off. Oh, I unscrewed my shock. Maybe that's part of my flexi issues. Unscrewed it. I'm just gonna call that, guys, for now, because it's getting toasty. It's cooling down since I'm not doing all the heavy rear end steer stuff I was trying to do getting up that hill climb. but I don't want to burn any of these up because they are kind of hard to get your hands on right now. There you have it.